Welcome to Big Boy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs, from one end of the globe all the way back to Miami and Bitcoin Miami. This is Around the Blockchain. We come to you 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. My name is DZ. You can also catch me at NFT Alpha Show. And today we're going to be talking about your favorite topics with the best panel we've ever had in the history of this show. I know I say that every time, but this time I actually mean it. I lied yesterday. On the top right, we're going to get right into it. It's RiceTVx, and next time I see him, it will be IRL in Miami. So I'm looking forward to that, brother. Looking forward to it. And then on the bottom right, we have Crypto Lifer. He was in a band, but don't ask him about Bandcamp. It's right, Crypto Lifer 33. Make sure you check him out. Then on the bottom left, I actually didn't have time to ask you, are you wearing Crypto Factor merch right now?
No.
What's that logo? What's that purple logo?
Oh, this? No, this is just random logo, man.
But if you want to find out if he does have merch, make sure you're following his Twitter. You got to go there. He's always putting out some hot takes. Then on the top left, he's LARPing Jungle Book in real life. It is Arcane Bear. We're having fun mentioning his bear cave and just seeing the evolution of it. You know, we like seeing what everything you're doing out there in the jungle, Arcane. So always good stuff. Make sure you're following all the guests here, by the way. All right, but we're going to be talking about dormant coins. We're talking about massive amount of old Bitcoin being moved. We're not talking 2 years. We're not talking 5 years. We're talking way back in a large amount as well. Also, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Doodles getting hacked. Did more people lose their apes? What is going on with the ape community? Stop giving away your seed phrase. Stop clicking those links. We're going to see what happened with that. Then there's a marriage, perhaps made in heaven. Cardano fans, where you at? It's Snoop D-O-double-G has just joined the ADA family. So it's going to be a good one. We're looking forward to getting into that. It's the Clay Nation. Where are my Claymates at in the chat? Let me know. But before we get into that, you know what time it is, everybody. It is time for us to check out the crypto markets. And we were having, you know, a little bit of a down day yesterday, but look at this back into the green. We have Ethereum up 4.5%, Bitcoin up 1%, kind of making some retracements on. You see that giant dip. We're starting to recover a little bit. Now I'm going to bring it to you, Lifer. Everybody was scared. I saw tweets, people literally saying it's over, sell all your alts. You know, I think they're opening that window on that high floor. Is it really over? What is going on with the Bitcoin charts?
Oh no, yeah, definitely over. I sold everything. The reason why was because no, it's April Fool's. But let's just break it down for a split second and show you what I see happening in the charts. So I was on BitBoy, you know, numerous times last month, and I kept showing this hidden bullish divergence on the weekly. Too many people don't zoom out and look at the weekly. I learned that from Arcane Bear. I used to watch him for years. He used to always tell me, zoom out, man. Zoom out. Don't get caught up in the little stuff. Stack those Satoshis. So I'm so happy to be on the show with him. Thank you to have me here every time. I really appreciate it. Love you guys at BitSquad. Love the BitSquad. Love the lifers in the comment section. Where are those lifers at? Appreciate you all. I'm feeling it. You know, my birthday's coming up next week. I've got that energy, feeling it. But so hidden bullish divergence on the weekly for Bitcoin. It did play out as we assumed it would. Bang, bang, bang. 90% of the time, that's going to move. We broke out. And yes, we kept saying, I thought we might get a pullback here. When we jettisoned out of that, beautiful. But we came right to this weekly resistance. Look at that. Right there with these two candles closed, we were going to have a little bit of a move there. However, we take a look at the daily time frame. The daily was also looming. How high could that stochastic be before we eventually had a pullback? So what I'm looking at is this. Usually price action comes back to the 21-day moving average. That is the system which I created and which I trade with. You trade with everyone you like. If you want to learn from me, you can. It comes down here to the 21, and then it usually gets a bit of a bounce. So I'm expecting something like this with a measured move back up here to about $51,000. If we break this and go any lower, then fine. We might actually come back and hit 40K. And honestly, there's a chance that we never go lower than this 200-day moving average. Another thing I want to show you, look at the daily here. This is something that you see a lot. Look at the last time we had a push. We pushed up, snapped back to the 200-day, and we were gone. This looks like the same thing we're doing right now. Look, it looks similar. You had your chop, chop, chop. You pushed up. You broke resistance a little bit. You came back down. You bounced off the 200 and some resistance. Same thing. We had some chop, chop, chop. We broke up. We came back down. We're bouncing off the 200 and resistance. So I'm seeing a bit of a deja vu scenario here.
All right. Great TA there, man. Always good job with Lifer here. But yeah, let's get into the details here with these old Bitcoin. It was 11,000 of them. They left 2 days ago. It's about 7 to 9 years
I think
old.
they're buying altcoins, honestly. I think they're buying altcoins. I just wanted to put out everyone thinks they're selling Bitcoin. I think they're buying alts.
I say there's a really good chance of that. Now, it's one of the 2 largest movements in Bitcoin's history. It's a very, very large amount. Some people are saying it's tied to a 2014 hack. Some people are saying it's not. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. But, I mean, this is 8 years ago. So, currently, you know, we are up a little bit. We are seeing, you know, we're bouncing off that 200. So, it is looking a little bit better. But now, crypto factor, do you think we are gonna, you know, are you feeling we're out of the woods when it comes to that 200 moving average on the daily? I mean, it's, you know, we do have that bounce, but a lot of people say the more we test it, the more likely we break down below it. What's your thoughts on the 200?
Well, we talked about this a couple of days ago when I said we're gonna go back down and visit the 44K region. I mean, right here on around the blockchain, and I pretty much share the same views with Crypto Lifer. Although 51K, yeah, I'm hoping we can break above 52K for this bull market to resume, or at least confirmation that this bull market, probability-wise, always will resume. No, I'm looking. I have the same opinion on Crypto Lifer. It's kind of funny. I think we had the same opinion a few weeks ago or a week ago as well. I'm looking at the same thing. I'm looking at the same levels, and I'm pretty confident we're going to go up. There's always probabilities, though. So, are we out the woods? Well, this is crypto. You're never out the woods. You live in the woods. Like there's woods everywhere.
T-Ho lives in the woods.
Yeah. Sure. Facts. T-Ho. Now, T-Ho, let's bring it right to you, Arcane Bear. I mean, is this, you know, we have a big conference coming up. We've seen this year after year after year. Bitcoin Miami, it starts in, I believe, 4 days. We have this looming. Seems like there's always positive price action leading up to a conference. And then we see a little bit, you know, of retracement. Sometimes it just starts crashing if we look at last year. Do you predict anything? I mean, is there any correlation between, you know, the Bitcoin conference and, you know, the price action we're seeing today?
Well, price is largely due to speculation and human psychology. This is one of the reasons why the old adage of buy when there's blood in the streets is such a powerful sentiment. It is not a metaphor for, or it's not just an idea of red candles. It's a literal metaphor. Bitcoin is a crisis asset. I think that in times of crisis, even though the price is volatile, I believe it starts to show its true colors. Now, originally, when I saw it run from $90 to $1,000, and I got super excited, was during the Cypritic collapse. So when the bank said, hey, if you have over 100 grand, we're going to take all your money. And I think a lot of people, at least in Cyprus at that moment, realized that central banks and governments can just take your money. And it's not really up to you. You know, some of the core values that this technology brings to the table as sovereign ownership, it really starts to shine when things get weird. Like, and we haven't seen all the kickers yet, but one of the things I did think was important to kind of recognize was the last time we were on the around the blockchain here. Let's go. I don't even know if I can share this. I can screen share here for a second. What we were talking about was Wyckoff reaccumulation ranges. And this is the specific one that we had shared. I'm not sure you guys can see my screen. Is that correct?
Not yet.
Okay,
Perhaps
hold on. I'll try this one more time. I apologize.
And by the way, that thing that happened in Cyprus, the thing with people that was scared that the bank will do that, it actually did happen.
Yes. This was not this was something that actually took place. This was not just a frightful moment. This went down. You can all the research. For some reason, I can't figure out how to. Yeah, I was IRL for sure.
It's the internet in the cave. That's all it is.
Yes, yeah. It's my lemon tree today, guys.
Yeah, the lemur chewed the wire. You know.
One of the things we had done was make a comparison to the S&P 500 between the years of 2000 to 2013. And in 2001, we came down to the trading range, and then we went back up into the 2008 collapse. We came all the way back down to the trading range. I believe where we are right now is similar to the bottom of the S&P 500 during the 2008 collapse. There's not a whole lot of room for bankers to do anything other than print money. And they're going to try to bring in a lot of austerity controls over the next few years. So Bitcoin as a crisis asset is going to explode. And if I could figure out how to share my chart, which I will do while someone else is talking, there's a potential for what a lot of people are calling a super cycle, where when you get a reaccumulation, you then get a very long and extended bull market. And considering we are in accumulation for over almost 3 years, like 1,300 days or something like this. Almost 4 years between 2017 and 2020. That leads me to believe that we're going to see a lot longer of a sustained market, especially because of the bigger players here too. So I'll get that chart loaded up so I can share, because it's a great visual. But short, don't just accumulate. If we go down, lucky you got an amazing asset at a discounted price.
Yeah, I know I like to buy the dip, and I like to dance also. I just also dip it as well. Now, Rice, let's go a little bearish here. There's also some whale activity. We hadn't seen whale activity like this since December 2017. Once that wallet was no longer dormant, we saw whales copying the trade. That whales also started, and this is a metric only if you have over 100 Bitcoin. We're not talking about people selling 0.1. Now, do you think these whales maybe had secret information? Were they connected? Were they in a Discord, a Telegram chat? Or do you think they just had the same tools available to everybody, just some on-chain analytics, software with maybe an alert set?
Well, first of all, thanks again for having me back on Around the Blockchain. I do appreciate and encourage people to check out RiceTVx. And I would definitely agree that these whales, especially people who have been involved in the space for quite some time, are connected and they are sharing inside information. In order to be able to manipulate and control these markets, it's going to take more than one individual with a lot of Bitcoin. So I definitely see some teamwork taking place on there. Another thing too, when you were asking about the conferences and how they kind of timed around where you're seeing some price action. I'm kind of curious if the conferences are actually doing that kind of on purpose, taking advantage of past information, just because you're going to want to have a conference happen when you're having better price action generally for that excitement. Because I've been to some big conferences when the price has been low, and there's a different level of excitement with the people when you're seeing the market kind of going up. Now, this could indicate, obviously in 2017, we've seen us hit an all-time high and then a sell-off. I don't know if I don't necessarily agree that we're seeing the same thing, but we may be seeing older Bitcoin dormant coins being moved so that they can get in place, because it does look like we have a lot more upside. We're not going to go straight up. We're going to be coming back up and down. But I've been interviewing some interesting people lately. I have an interview with Mr. A from Crypto Vigilante coming out tomorrow. I would encourage people to check out. He gives a little bit of his insight of what he feels like is going to happen in the market. And I definitely feel like we've got a lot of upside from here still.
Yeah. And as Crown Chakra says, Crypto Faces rapper, the market goes up and then it goes down. And we see it time and time again. Well, let's talk a little Bored Ape and yet another hack. Yes, more apes are stolen. Bored Ape people, there's a reason you're a meme when it comes to NFT security.
Why are they always monkeying around?
Discord, they're always monkeying around, as BJ said. But there was a Discord hack that affected a lot of major blue chip NFTs. It also affected the doodles. Now, this was the ticket, the ticket tracker. Yeah, the doodles, they weren't doodling around either. And people, Naoki, the shamans, they basically gave a fake minting site. I think for the Bored Apes, it was like Mutant Kennel Club YC.com. It was very, very crude looking. I'll pull up the tweet at some point where we can actually see how unsophisticated the minting page was. It was very, very bad. Now, Crypto Factor, this isn't the first time we've seen an exploit like this. We've seen it happen time and time again with Discord bots. Where does the responsibility lie here, though?
Yeah. So, as you know, I have an NFT project, a gaming metaverse called Bitbulls.io with a Z, right? And the hardest, I don't know if people know this, but the Discord is extremely complicated. It's extremely complicated, especially if you want to do things and everything. You have to be modding it all the time. There's a deep diving into it. And of course, to people in crypto, to people used to it, it's simple. But the problem is that a lot of people, because they think they understand it and it's simple to them, they don't realize that it's very easy to trick people on Discord. It's very easy to manipulate people. And you know what? A lot of professionals as well don't know how to use Discord. I advise companies. I do advising. I was a CMO in multiple companies. They don't know how to use Discord. They're like, this is very confusing. So
the younger kids do, though.
Excuse me?
The younger kids, they definitely know how to utilize Discord.
Right, but I'm just saying it's extremely complicated, and when when something is very complicated, there's a window of opportunity because it's very easy to trick people. extremely easy to trick people, and companies get hacked and on Discord all the time. As a matter of fact, one of our biggest security concerns is Discord. We're worried about it. We have a team on it, building it out, and it's very easy to exploit. So where does the responsibility lie? Obviously to the project, because at the end of the day, if you're in the driving seat, no matter whose fault it is, it's your responsibility to keep people safe. So and you need to you have to keep on your lane and put your right flash on to turn and all that. That means you have to follow protocols. That's probably not the best example I could have thought about for this show, but you get my drift. Yeah. The responsibility falls on the driver, right? So you need to put your seatbelt on, make sure everyone has their seatbelt on, make sure you drive that.
I do say this about crypto and NFTs especially. There's just a constant barrage of IQ tests. And I don't mean overall, I just mean your crypto IQ, your NFT IQ. I actually have the link here. This is what it looked like. This was the sophisticated attack that we're hearing about. Okay. Very, very crude, very, very hard to read. I tweeted it out, or I retweeted it. So check that out. But yeah, it wasn't exactly rocket science here.
And not everybody understands Discord. We have to understand that not many people getting into everything understands Discord. Not many people have the information we have, or most people have, about these platforms.
It's just from running the Pluto Alliance, it is one of people's main hesitation. Now, Lifer, I'm bringing this one to you because you look most like legal counsel here, and obviously nothing he's saying is legal advice. It's he's telling you the law. No, I'm just kidding here. So let's just assume I'm shopping on Nike.com. I'm only saying that because I got this on, or the Falcons.com, and there's an exploit. I lose money. I don't actually get my Nike hooded, sweatshirt. I don't get my hat to cover, the 5 head here. Nike would reimburse me. The Falcons would reimburse me. What makes this any different? Why does Discord get a pass when there's, an exploit like this when I lost money?
I'm sure somewhere deep in the tiny fine print there, it says something where, you have to take responsibility for your own valuables or whatever. I'm sure they have themselves covered. They've thought about these things. At the same time, you know what I'm saying? People have to have responsibility over themselves. Crypto is about banking the unbanked and banking yourself, right? It came from people getting away from the banking system. The banking system took advantage of people because they didn't want to take control of their own finances. Whenever you don't want to do the work, someone's going to take advantage of you. So if you can't see that was an easy exploit in a Discord channel, you could tell it wasn't that good because I read the article, they only got one NFT, they got one Bored Ape and one Mutant Ape and 2 doodles. They didn't get a lot. Most people laughed at that thing. It got caught pretty fast. I just moved to Discord. I moved my whole trading group to Discord today. It's funny that you mentioned this. So with all this Discord talk, I'm like, and I hired a guy who's a pro at Discord to build it out, to give me all the specs, to tell me all the ins and outs. I don't plan on Discord, helping us out if something bad happens. We have to take these things, we have to take it under our own responsibility. And that's what crypto is about. So no, Discord, I don't think should have to do anything at all. At the end of the day, if you hit a phishing attack, if you give if you send your Bored Ape to somebody else, another thing, when you saw that there was a mint, it was a mint for what they do is they make another edition. It was like a pit bull mint or a doggy mint or something. Yeah. Go to the Twitter and they would have had the Twitter mint out immediately. So if you don't see that the Twitter's pushing that, if you don't go to their Telegram, go to their main things, do a little bit of a deep dive. If you're lazy, you deserve to get hacked. That's how I look at it. And I don't like hackers and I think they're horrible, but you got to have your own responsibility when it comes to crypto. And that's what crypto is all about.
All right. I'm joining the Lifer Discord right now. Hold on. So there's not mutant lifers? That's not real? Okay, don't mint that, everybody. Don't mint that. Now, Rice, they're always coming up with new, creative, dastardly ways of stealing your crypto, stealing your NFTs. Do you have any just general tips for, people new to Discord, new to NFTs, new to crypto on how to not get scammed?
Yeah. And first of all, I wouldn't even limit this to just Discord. This is happening, period. You're seeing ads on YouTube that are running scams.
Oh, good point. Good point.
That look like it might be Elon Musk or Vitalik Buterin who's giving away Bitcoin, but you had to first send Bitcoin to X address. So
but I'll get double back. I get 2 for every one I send. That's good.
It's actually 10x.
It works.
So I completely agree with Lifer. It is on the responsibility of the individual. It's not on the responsibility of the project. It's not on the responsibility of a platform. Scammers are going to be scammers. And not only that, they're getting more creative and more sophisticated. I think I mentioned last week where there was a scammer pretending to be one individual, talking to two different individuals, one of which was the person he was scamming, pretending to be, and was asking questions to be able to answer the other question to kind of get through the security protocol, and was actually able to do that. So, people just need to really, like Lifer said, take responsibility. You need to do better research on projects that you're going to be investing in. Look at websites, look at the social media, look at GitHub, see if there's any activity being done. Make sure there's a team behind the project. If you're seeing projects that don't have teams, most of the time that's not a good sign. I'm not going to say in every single instance, because obviously look at Satoshi Nakamoto. So, but at the same time, again, this is on people to put their your big boy pants on, your big girl pants on, and just act like an adult, and take your training wheels off your bike and just start riding. But you're going to have to take that responsibility. And another thing that I will add, and it sucks to say this, but most people, when they first get involved in crypto, need to make some sort of mistake that's going to make them change the way that they're going to interact in the future, and take this a lot more seriously, because there is a lot that comes into being your own banker.
All right. And that original scenario you point out where the dude's pretending to be a dude disguised as another dude scamming a dude might be Robert Downey Jr. I'm just saying, I don't know. Who knows where he was at during that time. Now,
yeah,
Arcane Bear
was trying to explain it.
Arcane Bear, will crypto generally, NFTs, will it ever not be enter at your own risk? Can we foresee one day where maybe there's a AI built in with a browser, or some better way of checking websites?
It's the way it should always be. It's one of the things about life is we get way too caught up in our own security, like whether we're going to survive tomorrow. One of the things I think that's interesting is that this is a real clear indicator that we are very early in so much of this. And, for instance, we've been seeing a lot of people somehow get verified Twitter accounts and then use those verified Twitter accounts to then shill these fake NFT projects as well. So they're finding all new avenues. And anywhere where you have a potential for financial activity and for someone to scam, they're going to do that. Some scams ran for a really long time, like Herbalife, like clearly not working products that were selling fraud, right? And they got away with this for a really long time. Regulation is slow to catch up. So the best way to look at it is, yes, if you're going to be managing your own finances or something that's of value to you, you should take it like an asset. And I think because there's so many new participants here, they're not focusing on security as a prime issue. Like we run OPSECs frequently where we're changing passwords, like constantly updating our security, because we know that this is a deep issue. Now, what you shared about the kind of ape coin, the idea that people are getting rugged really easily with rather simplistic approaches, it just, again, it goes to show how early we are. And it should highlight to anyone who's new here that when you're in this sector, it's really easy to lose money. And it's been that way since the early 1900s. If you want to participate with the investment sector, it's often a way to lose money. And the best way you overcome like the obstacles of security and doubt is through constant conviction and practice, right? So if you don't have a ledger or a Trezor, you should have bought one or multiple already, right? You should be participating by playing around more. And I think what often people do is they start to play, they get in this excited moment, and then all of a sudden they see this mint thing for something, and this irrational sense of greed or fear comes over. They just click the button without thinking. I've even been I think I've been hit once where like it looked like it was coming from a friendly, and so I clicked on the link and I was like, oh, that was stupid. So being aware of the fact that you're in an ecosystem where there are going to be like a little bit of a gauntlet is a first good step. But ultimately, I think it's a sign of how early we are and how important it is that people really take security and ownership Now, with something like Bored Ape Yacht Club, this is a huge brand. If there's a case where something like this happens, I suspect that the Ape DAO, which will go out of their way to hopefully help reimburse them. I thought OpenSea would have done that through the break that they had between them and Rarible. I was surprised they didn't. These are such huge companies. You think their reputation is worth more than the few $1 million that they would lose by actually reimbursing the people that were hacked. So I do hope that the Ape DAO does something, if it was like even for the silly mistake of the individual, because their brand is so big now. Why not just spend the extra few $1 million?
Yeah. Look out for the club members. And I always like it when a guest brings up a unlocked memory. I forgot about every 25th car you saw had some MLM, multi-level marketing, big thing on the back. Ask me about Herbalife. Ask me about, I'll sell you Tupperware. You know, I got knives, you know, all those things. But yeah, there was a period. Some of our older guests or viewers, one every 20 vehicles, there's somebody trying to sell you something on the back of their windshield. But all right, let's move on. Actually. Yeah, well, there's way too many of them too. All right, let's talk a little Snoop and Cardano. We have a little 40-second clip. I might try to play it here. This is the teaser that was released yesterday. Audio will not go through, so I will go ahead and mute this for the guest's sake. But yeah, you'll actually see they got Charles himself, Chucky himself came in. Snoop is teaming up with a big Cardano NFT project, one of the blue chips. They're called Clay Nation. If you follow Cardano NFTs, you're definitely aware of them. Everyone's making big waves. It's the first big celebrity to basically jump ship from Ethereum or Solana into the Cardano ecosystem. So seeing a lot of price action. Everybody's, it's blowing up. It's going to be a big event. Chucky will be there. Snoop will be there. It's on the 5th. I know I'm going to try to maybe at least do a reaction on it or something. But Rice, why do you think he is choosing to partner with Cardano? Do you think this is a thing where, hey, he looked at the tech, he liked what he saw? Or do you think this is more of a thing, he's just kind of, you come up to him with a good enough number and he'll talk about it?
I would agree with the second part of it. I mean, I think this is more marketing 100%. I don't think Snoop is looking at technology, to be honest with you. And I might be wrong. And if Snoop is watching, I apologize, Snoop. I am a fan, but
well, I definitely think you're wrong.
You think he looks at the tech?
Oh, definitely he does.
Yeah,
he's a very smart dude, man.
His whole life on videos.
He definitely looks at the tech.
Well, no, his son.
I've been in hip hop for years, man. People are calculated in hip hop. Very calculated.
With his son being in crypto, I think his son might be a little bit more on the tip of it. Again, I could be wrong.
I would agree.
But you're going to see people dipping their toes in the water of a lot of different blockchains, and there's no point in being a maximalist of any particular blockchain. I would want to experiment and find what's best, or even just using a variety so that way you can hit all the different communities. Now, I'm going to share something that's going to be a really unpopular opinion because, a lot of times when people talk about NFTs and someone from the outside looking into crypto talks about people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars for what they're calling JPEGs. And the sad thing about the NFTs, and you're not finding this much on any blockchains that do the opposite of what I'm about to say, but the content of NFT smart contracts is stored on the web through a file sharing system or through a cloud service like Amazon Web Service. So really your NFT is really just kind of a proof of cloud or proof of storage. Those images, any of that kind of information that you're seeing on an NFT is not stored on the blockchain. And that's one of the things that I would like to see change. So, that's one of the reasons why I haven't fully gotten involved into the NFT space. I do like the ideas of NFT memberships, and I do like the idea of NFTs, but I would like to see them actually be on chain and not have any issues of points of failure, because if Amazon Web Services or whatever file sharing content platform decides they don't like the project, they can simply terminate their services. And then what happens to those NFTs?
Yeah, no, that is a good point. If you want to learn more about that, look up Interplanetary File System, the IPFS system that is used for Ethereum. Now, Arcane Bear,
this is the Akash network. The Akash network is a really good one as well. Yeah, they're a decentralized version of file sharing. They run.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is your take on that? And as a follow up, is Snoop doing too much?
Well, let's start off with Snoop. First off, I think it's never too much. So I think what Snoop done is fantastic. When I really started to understand the Bored Apes, it came to me in kind of a smack of identity. I'd always looked at NFTs as kind of an identity of some sort. And most of the time when I think about identity, I think about passports. But then as I started to think further, I realized that throughout the ages, like whether it's religious identity, cultural, class, identity is valuable. And ownership of a cult or a brand identity is extraordinarily valuable as well. You know, the Ape DAO. So I guess back to the topic of what Snoop's doing in Cardano, I think if you're a hip hop artist, your life and your career is built off collaborations and support from other people. I think what he's doing is he's playing and collaborating. He dropped a video today that was entirely done in the sandbox. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but it was all created in the sandbox place that he bought. He said, check out the new house that I built in the sandbox. I think he's having a lot of fun kind of finding a second stride outside of hip hop, which is just what's my brand and my identity and the ownership of that brand and identity going forward. And I think that a lot of people are underestimating it. I know I definitely underestimated it to begin with. We talk about private ownership of property. Okay, well, that's a great thing to have. Well, what about private ownership of identity? And that's where things like Bored Ape or what Snoop Dogg I think is so exciting is this kind of brand ownership and the identity ownership within the sector too. So if I were him, I would be reaching out to everybody possible for collaborations. We saw Avalanche is doing something with Grimes. I think each of these brands is going to try to find a way to increase their potential of network effect and the proliferation of the technology. I think our future is a multi-chain future. It'll be a lot easier for people to participate from one chain to another. So whether it's on Cardano, Solana's now coming, or Solana's going to OpenSea, I think you're just going to see kind of a disintegration of which chains are running in the background, and that proliferation of an easier to identify GUI, something like a Snoop Dogg is going to, people find themselves more and more frequently. So I think it's a sign of the times. We're further into the adoption cycle. We still have problems like Discord's breaking down, but where we're seeing the cultural adoption with people like Snoop Dogg or Timbaland doing their ape shit videos, I think these are signs that the ownership of brand identity is really moving forward. I originally thought we'd see it in social tokens or some type of like decentralized Twitter, but it's happening in what things like Snoop Dogg are working on, which is, I believe, brand identity and how you own and manage and cultivate that moving forward. So I think it's a big win for the ecosystem, and I'm agnostic. I think Charles is interesting. I think Emin is interesting. I think Vitalik is interesting. All interesting people doing interesting things. I wouldn't try to judge based off that. We'll see where we are in 10 years as a venture capital bet on
Arcane Bear.
Yeah. Plus, you know what? Everyone here is also interesting. And if you want to know how to buy a Cardano NFT, definitely go to NFT Alpha Show. We do mini breakdowns on wallets, JPEG store, what marketplace, how to check rarity. So definitely check out some of our older content on that. Now, Factor, does having a celebrity come into a community strengthen a community? Or on, conversely, some would say, well, it grows the community, but it waters it down. When Snoop comes into a community, is it getting stronger or weaker?
So, okay, so there's something called building rapport. So let me answer this with something with an example. There's a lot of YouTubers out there, expert YouTubers, big YouTubers, and you'll notice what they do in the background. They'll put something like a Star Wars figure or an album or something of another. And what that is a subliminal way to get people to like you that like the exact same thing. So if you're a Star Wars fan and have something Star Wars behind, you'll notice it. You won't say anything. You won't give a second thought. But guess what? I just built rapport with you. So a lot of things, bringing a celebrity into your project, does that as well. But it also, it's not about just bringing a celebrity in the project. It's what you do with it after. For example, we actually with BitBulls, and I'm sorry I'm mentioning my project here, but we actually put a singer named Clady. The track is called A Wolf. It gets about 65 to 100 million views per track. An international artist. At the end of his music video, he gets into our metaverse. He becomes a BitBull, and then there's dancing around, and there's BitBulls around and everything, and then there's to be continued. And we're doing the next video all animation with BitBulls.
Now, I've seen this. I've seen this, and it is amazing. It looks awesome. It's an awesome project. Right. I'm going to become an advisor for BitBulls, so you got to check it out. BitBulls with a Z. Definitely, it's around the plug.
and we're actually reaching out to more artists as well. We're here around the plug. We're
all
but yeah,
plugging,
no,
but
look,
it's all good. We love you guys.
What it does though, it connects people like people that like Cardano, that like Snoop. Guess what? That's built. It builds more of a fan base. It builds more of a rapport. It builds more of a trust. It's not just about eyeballs. It's about the people you already have becoming more bonded with you. So I love what's going on. I love what's going on with Cardano. I was actually pleasantly surprised at this, and I think we're gonna see a lot. Well, I know. I specifically know that we're gonna see a lot more of this.
All right, yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun to look into. Now, Lifer, you know, I was looking at some on-chain data. Right now, Cardano NFTs, we had a huge day with this Snoop release. Very, very high volume, blasting off with some of the highest volume we've ever seen. A lot of good drops too. So the volume on Cardano yesterday was just insane when it came to NFTs, but it was 3% of Ethereum. With this, you know, can this affect the Cardano price charts, you know, if enough people start market buying to enter the ecosystem? And also, as a hip hop fan, as a ex-rapper, ex-MC, what is the lifer take on Snoop Dogg entering the Clayverse here?
I mean, I spent countless hours in the studio conceptualizing things, working with producers, working on ideas. I even shot a lot of films, and we would make the soundtracks of the films. And, you know, when someone, like, we're high into technology, I was almost insulted a little bit, but the idea, I'm just, you know, little
pun
there. But the idea, but the idea is like, oh man, because we conceptualize our songs.
Was that
I mean, think about it. People who sing, there's like maybe 40 lyrics in a song, a singing song. When you write a rap song, there's usually 3 verses of 16 bars a piece. You're putting so much thought and process into how you're taking the viewer and kind of how taking them through the lyrics. So in that sense, his brain is already kind of a channeled brain that kind of sees the beginning, middle, and end. And I think he's kind of also, he's done so much advertising in his life. And when you've done so much type of advertising creatively, you kind of want to, you know, I've done billboards, I've done songs, I've done product placement. Like now he's like, wow, I can go into the sandbox, and then he's just having fun. I kind of, you know, to piggyback on what Arcane Bear said, I think he's just having a blast, you know, and he's also a serious hustler. I mean, he came from nothing. He hustled his way to where he is. Charles Hawkinson, worth over $600 million, is also a hustler. Real recognizes real. When two people are grinding at that level, their vibrational energies collide and they get brought together. I don't see why they wouldn't hang out. This makes perfect sense. Two people that want to drive at the speed of light, people that want to go all the way. I met Charles Hawkinson. I shook his hand. I looked him dead in the eye. The guy had it all, man. I loved every second I spent with him. He's awesome.
But he's,
you know, I never got to meet Snoop, but I'm sure if I did, I'd be hyped as all heck.
Snoop. That's all this comes down to. He is a Snoop Dogg fan, and he wanted to hang out with Snoop, and he was just pulling his power.
No, man, he's got to deal with Africa. You know, like Cardano's moving at the speed of light. You know, I see it right now in a flag. Honestly, like I won't take too much more time.
And I love Charles.
Yeah, I see it breaking out right here out of a flag though. Measured move right now. I checked one quick thing. If Cardano stays above 110, 115. It's an easy 124 in the next week and a half. You know?
All right.
And real
quick,
I was excited to see those two people come together. I thought it was awesome. You know?
All right. And we have the 1 month chart here. So yeah, it is looking good. If we look at that year,
someone who just said vibrational energy, I'm out.
Okay.
Wow.
Maybe we can make a move up. And yeah, you were talking about, you know, raps, you know, kind of takes you on a story. I didn't think about the good harmony of an NFT telling a story, along with some rap lyrics, like you said, 16 bars. I know I was listening to a song yesterday, and I kept wondering, he was taking me on a story, and I was like, who? Mike Jones. Who? For 3 minutes, I'm doing this, and, you know, it really took me on a good journey. By the end, I knew who he was. He was Mike Jones. But that is all we got time for today, and it looks like we're, it was a close one, and Arcane Bear took it there at the end. Tiho, always a great time when you're on here. Feel free, leave us with some parting thoughts.
Well, DZ, thanks for having me on the show again today. It was great to see everyone. Crypto Lifer, Crypto Factor, Rice TV. Thank you guys for joining as well. If you haven't seen me before, you can find me Arcane Bear anywhere on the internet. But the only thing that shows up, arcanebear.com. Type that in on YouTube. Remember to follow all these lovely folk as well. Keep your security at a high priority. And then, yeah, keep calm and just keep accumulating. You'll do fine with this, I think.
All right. That's all we got time for. Have a great weekend. You have a great weekend. NFT Alpha Show. All the channels here. Frankie Candles, Meta Money. Until next time, BitSquad. Peace out.
Bye, Felicia's.